Okay, here is a piece of Sea Grape, another one, and they're starting to darken up. So inside in the core, they're starting to be a little bit darker than the cream color that I've been seeing. Now maybe I'll be contradicted when I cut this open. We'll see. In any case, right now I found I'm going to use this as my center. This will be the top. The bottom will be the round part. I got all these fingers sticking out here, and so my intent is to keep them in the bowl. I'll get rid of most of this way out here. And so I'm going to put this on the same bandsaw and cut the corners off so it'll fit on my lathe. And yeah, because that's well over 9 inches going that way. So I need to be under 9, and I'll probably make it 8.5 or something, just to make sure that it fits. And I might be a little more than that. But I'll put my woodworm screw in here and mount it on the lathe. So we'll see what happens next. As you can see, this is aged quite nicely in the yard. It's turned red. Now, of course, most of that's going to be gone and I'll have to redo it. But I'm getting ready to cut the corners off this, and I set it to 6.5 inch radius, so it'll be about 13 inches. And that's out beyond many of the areas in the wood. It's got this really soft branch. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Additionally, you can see this is quite a bit out farther, so it's like 1/4 inch away from the tool rest, whereas that's 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and then obviously there's nothing over here. So my intent is I'm going to machine this down until it's level with this. And then I'm going to add a post of some sort, either here or here, that sticks out in this direction. You know, it's only going to stick out a couple inches maybe. And so then I'll have a ridge that's here, here, and over here somewhere. So I got to figure out what the center is. And so I have good intentions. We'll see how it goes when I make some progress. Then this will be the top over here, so I'll have a dish out over here, but this will have some kind of shape on the bottom, and then I got to put a tenon or a mortise right around here. So that's where I am. Okay, I've got it so I can mount the tenon or the chuck on here. Got the chuck on, but I want to come in because this side here is all exposed bark or underbark, and I want to have a hole in the middle of this. I don't know how much smaller I want to turn the outside, but I'm going to turn it around and do some stuff there first, and then well, we'll see. Because I still want to have some of these features. So it's going to be interesting progress I make. I got to round the outside perimeter first too.
Okay, I'm going to make one leg for my little bowl. I'm going to have a three-legged bowl. Well, it only has two built in naturally, so I'm going to add one. It's going to be this. Same wood, just that I'm going to make a little dowel.
Okay, I made this dowel. My intent is to have this have a three-legged stool, essentially. Here being one that's natural, here being one that I added. It's made out of the same type of wood, but not obviously from this log. And then this will be the third foot. And right now my intent is to glue this in with just construction, regular construction adhesive. And I'm going to make it so that this point here is above here and here, so that I can then machine it down a little bit. My thoughts are, I'm going to cut off. I've got, I don't know, from the angle you're there, so you can see I've got a lot to cut off. So I made this thing. I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do, and there's a little bit of play in there. Once I put the glue in, it'll freeze it up. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, I'm going to, I don't know what I said in the last video, so we'll see. But I'm going to take away more of this. So the intent is to make this touch all the way around. Now I may not go all the way here, but I want to thin this out, because I obviously can't make a bowl from the left side of this that comes in unless I want to open up all of this. So I have to go in anyway. This is going to be a fairly shallow bowl, but I don't want it to be real heavy on the bottom, so I'm going to try and make it cleared away here too. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to cut this off. This will be a leg. You can see it's height, the height down here, or the depth, or whatever you want to call it, is deeper than the legs, the other two legs. That's why it rocks a little bit. But I'll machine that off, and then I'm cutting this off so I don't have to use the tools to chip it away a little bit at a time. But there we go. It's almost done.
Okay, I've got this turned around. I'm going to dish this out. I don't know exactly what I'm doing here. Obviously this has to go away at some point. And this is, you can see this is protruding here where I added that dowel. I got to knock that off, so we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm going to put in a 10 in here with the smallest jaws. So I've got this marked with the pencil from here, and I'm going to cut this down. Okay, I've got this really soft wood right here, and so I'm going to put some thin super glue on it to harden it up, and then at the end here I'll probably put some thick super glue to make it stiffer, connected to the light colored wood here. You can see my dowel right here. The plate comes in at a slight slope and then dips down. So it's not a very deep dish, but it's driven by what's on the other side. I think it gets to be pretty thin, and it's starting to make a void here, and I don't mind having a little void, but I don't want it to be a big hole. So I think I'm good. This isn't meant to hold water, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, I've turned this around. I got this surfaces on the machine surfaces down to 320, and the non-machine surfaces down to 180 with the flat sander flex. So now I'm going to dish out. You can see here, that's the dowel, that's this prosthetic leg, and then I'm going to I got to clean this up. I reinforced this branch with super glue. It was pretty soft, but I think it's okay. And I'm going to take this in a little bit. I can't go in much farther because there's some shallow spots. But like right there, it's only 1/4 of an inch thick right there. So I don't really want to take off more. I got to take off a little bit just to get rid of the rough spots and take out the pedestal here for the tenon. So there I go.
If you like what you see, please like and subscribe for more similar wood turning videos. Please comment on the video and I should respond. I make a video about once a week.
Okay, here is my latest Sea Grape bowl. It's a pedestal bowl. So the bowl is very shallow because the bottom of this has a big long arch leg, a prosthetic leg that I added by adding a dowel that I made, and then there's a branch leg, and that keeps it pretty level. It has warped a little bit in drying, so there's a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch rock. The bowl had a branch, a branch, a branch, a branch, a branch, and this one was dead. And so it's brown, dark brown. I almost thought I was going to lose it because it was so soft, but I was able to harden it up with super glue, and it is holding out. And there is a little step right here that, because of the change in shape due to drying out some more, it's maybe a little bit out of alignment, but it's pretty nice. I'll turn this over in a minute. I didn't allow this to turn orange very much on the top. I basically finished it as soon as I got done sanding. There is a definite red edge. When I flip this over, you'll see it. So this is black almost. That's a cut edge that turned pretty dark. And then there's the natural edge that is fairly red. The dowel is another piece of Sea Grape that I turned and drilled a hole and put it in. Let's see, anything else interesting? It's 12.5 inches max dimension across and about 3 3/4 tall. Here, let me turn it over just so you can see what the bottom looks like. So in any case, you can see here's my prosthetic leg. Here's the very dead branch. I guess I said 4. Yeah, there's 4 branches counting the dead one. Here's the pith of the main log, and so it's there. Here's the natural edge where the bark was removed, and it showed up as orangish red. And then here's the other end where the pith is just a little below or above the top of the bowl when you turn it over. It's about as thin as I could make it without it breaking through large here. I mean, I might have been able to remove more here, but it wouldn't have helped a lot. And it looks nice like this. So it's got a dish on the back and a dish that's functional on the front. Okay, I think that's about it.